What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Storm Collectibles King of Fighters 98 Terry Bogard. And so here we have Terry Bogard posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories because he does come with quite a bit. For starters, we do get 4 different portraits for Terry. We do have a neutral expression, which he has on him right now. We also do get a head where he's smirking, which looks really good. He comes with a head where he's gritting his teeth. And then finally we do get a yelling expression head. Terry also does come with 5 pairs of hands. We do get a pair of fists which come on him outside of the packaging. We do get a pair of relaxed hands for when Terry's just walking around. We get a pair of clinching hands like he's catching a punch or just giving someone a palm. We do have a pair of hands where his hand is splayed out open like a style pose. And then we actually do get a pair of style pose hands which look really nice. We also do get 4 different ponytails for Terry, even though 2 of them are supposed to be going down. We also do get 2 more that are supposed to be stylized, which look good on the figure. We get 2 different vests. We have a neutral vest, which looks good on the figure. And then we also do get a vest that's supposed to be used for dynamic display options, which that also looks really nice. We do get his burn knuckle effect, which does go on either of his fists. We get a power wave effect, which does look really nice, and I do like the way it came out. We also do get his trusty power geyser effect, which it's just a big hulking piece of plastic, which looks nice. And we also do get the Omega Rugal Build-A-Figure piece, which is like an energy sphere, which I don't intend on finishing. So that's all Terry comes with. He does come with quite a bit, and that is a lot to take in. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to Terry's details. And so here we have a closer look at Terry Bogard, and Storm Collectibles has done a really good job with this figure. Now, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Storm Collectibles does scale their figures bigger than most lines, so if you were trying to fudge this Terry into a Smash Brothers display, I got some really terrible news. He is way too big to put in any Smash Brothers display. I'm so sorry to say that. But this Terry is kind of big, and he doesn't fit in with the 1/12 scale. I think he's more like 1/10, 1/11 scale. He's a bigger figure, but it's not a bad thing. I still like the way the figure came out. So looking at the figure, I really do like the face on Terry. It looks like the King of Fighters 98, which this is the figure he's inspired from. It looks really nice, and I do like the Fatal Fury hat that he has on him. It's done really nicely. You can see they tempoed it on really nice, and I believe it's pretty good on all the heads with the exception of the yelling one, where you can see this one was warped out of packaging. An easy fix, but there is that. We do have his ponytail right now. Like I did say, his ponytail, we get 2 options. We have the one going down, and then we have a style pose ponytail. Now, I know a lot of people said it's a little hard to peg in and it doesn't fit properly. I'm not having any issues, and I'm tapping his head. It's not falling off from me shaking it. It's not doing anything. The problem is that they're not pegging it in all the way, and you can see even I don't have it pegged in all the way. I think if you heat up the head just a little bit, this ponytail will peg in nicely. I don't know why people say it doesn't peg in. It does. You just gotta work at it, and it's not a bad thing. Honestly, a lot of people say it's terrible, but it doesn't fall out just by touching it. And you can see I'm actually doing a good job touching it, and it's not falling out. So yeah, I think that's one criticism that this figure gets that isn't rightly deserved. But moving on to his costume, I think they did a really nice job with his red vest. It does have some seams sculpted onto it, and it looks really good. You can see they even did the star on the back of his vest really nicely, really clean. That's a really nice star. It's not fading anywhere. It looks perfect. Is it the Fatal Fury / King of Fighters star? Not really, but close enough. And of course we do have the muscular arms of Terry. Terry of course does work out, or at least it looks like he does. You can see he is wearing some dark blue fighter gloves, even though they're not fighter gloves, they're fingerless gloves. But they do look nice. His torn shirt right here, you can see he ripped the sleeves off because he wants to sell free tickets to the gun show. Terry has really nice arms right here. Really do like the proportions on Terry. He's kind of lanky, but it's not a bad thing. He looks like he runs a lot. That's all I'm going to say about his proportions. He has that really slender, kind of bulky build. He does a lot of push-ups and he does a lot of running. I think the jeans could have been done just a little bit better. It's just blue. You can see they did try to add some kind of wash up here, but they could have done it better, honestly. It's not a bad thing, but a little bit of whitewash would have gone a long way, especially for jeans. I do like the fact that they did sculpt the seam lines and even the pockets up here. Did they sculpt the little pocket? No, they didn't sculpt the little pocket, which is a little bit unfortunate. But the belt is done cleanly. I do appreciate the amount of detail that Storm Collectibles put into this figure. And then finally we do get on to his pair of Chucks. Now, I used to have a pair of red Chucks now. You can see on mine, the paint on the left foot isn't really that good. It's like some of the laces didn't get painted. Right foot looks so much better, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Don't know what happened with the left, but it's not a huge deal. It's just something that you're not going to notice all the time. They even sculpted the underside of his Converse. I find that so funny, yet a really great attention to detail. So overall, Terry here has a lot of nice detail. I do like what Storm Collectibles has done with this figure. And he's a really nice looking figure, and I can't stress that enough. He looks really nice. And he poses excellently, which we'll get on to Articulation. But first, let's compare him to other figures you have in your collection. Here we have Terry posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Terry posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Terry posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have Terry posed next to a Storm Collectibles Street Fighter V Ryu and a Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. Let's get the ponytail out of his head, just so we can go over articulation really fast. He does have what feels like a double ball joint in the head. We have a ball joint going into the head, as you can see right here. And then we probably have another ball joint going down into the chest, which does allow for some really nice movement. You can see he does tilt his head really nicely, and I like the fact that the neck is a softer piece, so it moves with the figure, does go back and forward, does look left and right, can tilt side to side. Really good movement on the neck right there. His arms are on ball sockets that connect into the torso, so we do have that joint. As you can see, I just popped it off. It's supposed to come off, so don't be afraid if it does pop off. One thing you might want to be concerned about is paint rub. I actually do have some rubbing right here where the plastics are meeting. It's not a big deal, but do be aware of that. But as I said, he does have a really generous ball joint, which does move around nicely. You can see it goes up, goes down, goes side to side, all the way around, no problem. It of course does go out to the side pretty generously. You can see we get the full range of movement there. It does go all the way around, no problem. We have a bicep swivel, which works just fine. Double bend in the elbow, giving us much better than 90 degrees. We have a ball hinge here at the wrist, which does go in and out. We can rotate that to have an up and down hinge, and then of course it rotates on that peg. Terry here has a really nice, generous ball joint. You can see he moves around nicely. It does gap up a little bit, but that's not a huge issue with me. And again, you can see some of that rub is going onto the white shirt. Don't know how Storm could have fixed that solution. I don't know, that's really hard to say how they could have fixed the rub on the joint there. I don't think I have his head on all the way, but I'll worry about that later. We do have a ball joint in the lower torso, which does go back and forward. We get some really nice tilt in combining those two. If you're a little rough with the figure, it will pop off, so it's not a big deal. He does crunch forward really nicely. Legs do kick forward really far, pushing it all the way there. Goes back to about there. Goes out all the way to the side, no problem. We do have a thigh rotation up high. Double bend in the knee, not quite 90 degrees, but good enough. We do have rotation here at the foot, and unfortunately his ankle articulation does suffer because of the way his jeans cover his chucks. His foot would not rotate, but hinge up and down a little bit better, but that's all we get. very minuscule pivot, if any, and then we have a toe hinge. So overall, Terry here has a lot of good articulation. Some questionable things and some issues that you might want to watch out for is the rubbing of the red plastic onto the white, but it's not a big deal, and I like the way the figure came out. So what we're going to do now is get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Storm Collectibles Terry Bogard posed for my final thoughts. Overall, love this figure. I can't stress that enough. I absolutely love this figure to death. Now, he does have some issues that we do need to point out. I am not a fan of the fact that some of the red plastic is starting to rub off onto his white shirt. That can be fixed with paint, but over time you're going to have to either be repainting it or figuring out something just to fix that, and I wish Storm Collectibles would have done a little more research into that. However, that's not enough to break this figure. I think he's done really, really well, and I think Storm Collectibles has knocked it out of the park with this figure. Now, growing up, I really wasn't much of a King of Fighters guy. I was more of a Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, but I knew of King of Fighters and Fatal Fury. I just really wasn't that big on SNK, but when Terry was announced for Smash and I started picking him up, I absolutely fell in love with the character, and it made me really want a Terry figure, and the D-Arts one is kind of expensive, so I'm really happy that Storm Collectibles has released this Terry Bogard figure. Again, not the biggest King of Fighters or Fatal Fury fan, but I'm still happy to have them in my collection. If you are looking for a Terry Bogard here, I did pick mine up from from Big Bad Toy Store, not Storm Collectibles, BigBadToyStore.com, where he did run about $90, which is quite a bit for a figure of this size. He really doesn't come with too much, but the power geyser is enough to say, hey, you want 90 bucks? I'll throw it at my computer screen and get this really awesome figure. If you're looking for Terry Bogard, he's still available on Big Bad Toy Store at the time I'm making this video, so go ahead and pick him up. If you're a fan of King of Fighters, SNK, you want to have your own Street Fighter versus SNK, that would be awesome too. I really want to see Storm tackle the female Terry. I think that's a figure that they could do really well, but only time will tell. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Storm collectible videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.